Good evening. Another violent clash between patriot and anti-fascist groups has been averted during marches through the CBD. A heavy police presence kept both sides in check but couldn't stop noisy protesters from antagonising each other. Mark Santomartino was there.
Political enemies come face to face.
Don't touch me,
The third annual Aussie Pride March turns predictably violent at its first opportunity. Barriers barely keeping protesters apart on Spring Street. After prepared police scanned bodies and searched bags for weapons.
Is it for OC spray, in case she gets sprayed?
Draped in Australian flags, the True Blue crew and its supporters set off from Carlton Gardens.
We are strong, we are proud, we are better.
Any early semblance of calm
I don't affiliate myself with any extremist groups.
lost in the storm. During the march, police did everything they could to quell the violence. Hundreds were out in force, flanking the groups on either side, many of those in heavy riot gear. Quick-footed units and the mounted brigade shut down streets as protesters looked for holes in their defence. Close enough to hurl abuse, but not to throw punches. As the chants died down and the crowds dispersed, tourists were left bemused.
I'm from the Gold Coast and I've never seen anything like this before, so I thought it was quite funny.
No laughing matter for either side, unwilling to back down.
And if they ever want to collectively organise, we're going to be there to outnumber them and show them that the side of anti-racism is far stronger than the side of racism.
I don't think it's in their best interest to try to hurt someone like me. I don't think they're capable of summoning into their service as much violence as I am.
Mark Santomartino, 9 News.
Good evening. Hundreds of police lined city streets today to try to keep heated protesters apart. Two groups, fuelled by racial tensions, chose the same day to march through Melbourne, determined to have their voices heard.
Flashpoint as the left and right face off on Spring Street. It was the third annual Aussie Flag Pride March, organised by the True Blue crew from the Carlton Gardens to Parliament House. Their turnout was small, around 50, but their opposition who gathered nearby was much bigger and louder.
Nazis are not welcome here.
The campaign against racism and fascism says the True Blue crew is dangerous.
People who worship Hitler, people who have swastika tattoos on them.
They're here purely as reactionaries to shut down what we're doing. Like, that's aggressive, that's violent.
One latecomer was told which way to head, as some were singled out to be searched for weapons or anything prohibited. Others who were reluctant to show their faces were forced to remove all head coverings, revealing their identities. But police blocked the left from approaching the right from behind. So when they reached Parliament, plastic barriers and hundreds of police stopped violence. There was just one arrest. The man who was shoved in the face wasn't willing to talk about it.
Move! I said move away from me.
Some bystanders were bewildered.
I couldn't even hear what they were saying. I just think what an absolute waste of manpower for the police.
Despite a history of violent clashes, the left organised their counter-protest just hundreds of metres from their opponent. But they insist that was not provocative. They say it's democracy.
The most inflammatory thing is that there are actual neo-Nazis that are walking through Melbourne.
I don't think it's in their best interest to try to hurt someone like me. I don't think they're capable of summoning into their service as much violence as I am.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.